Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is Uncanny X-Men number 120. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everybody. So I kind of wanted to do a quick little go back to the book that started my channel, the X-Men Omnibus, or Uncanny X-Men Omnibus number 1. And I also kind of wanted to do this issue because I kind of forgot when I was skimming through it that we did have a pretty important part. So this X-Men 120 is the first appearance of Alpha Flight. Not necessarily the first appearance of this character who, for whatever reason, was called Weapon Alpha or Vindicator. I know in the Alpha Flight's comic series, his name is actually Guardian, which I'm not sure why there was a name change there. But yeah, so I know a commenter on my videos requested the Alpha Flight series, and I will get to it, but I figured I might start with the actual first appearance of the team, the Alpha Flight. So anyhow, let's get into the story is continuing. The X-Men are coming back from a trip. They actually had an adventure in the Savage Lands and then had a little bit of a detour in Japan. And they're coming over the Pacific Ocean from Japan over to the United States. And here we have sort of image of the X-Men fighting in their last fight. And here you have the Prime Minister of Canada. And I think this actually is, I don't know if Byrne actually drew Trudeau, or the older Trudeau, not the current day Trudeau. But yeah, the Prime Minister of Canada. And then Guardian, I know it's called Vindicator in this comic, but it just confuses me. His name is Guardian. He explains who the X-Men are to him, and Prime Minister's like, I don't really care. They have Wolverine, and I want Wolverine back because we spent a lot of money. You know, all them Canadian tax dollars had to go to something. Pay for all that adamantium. And so Guardian says, all right, we're gonna go get him, but I need to go get my team together. And it's actually a pretty interesting team. So there it is, North Star, Shaman, Snowbird, Sasquatch, and Aurora. I know there's two other major characters later, if I remember correctly, but in this case, we're just talking about these five right here. So North Star is a champion skier, and I know later on they made him gay. I don't know if he was necessarily originally meant to be gay in the first comics right here, but for whatever reason they did it. I'm not sure if it was like an Iceman thing where they retconned it to piss everybody off, or if he actually always was gay. I'm not sure. Shaman is a Native American physician. Snowbird, Annie McKenzie is a basically a Mountie, a pretty hot Mountie. Sasquatch is a physicist or a professor, but also a former linebacker. Kind of a weird combo right there. And then Aurora is the hot French Canadian MILF. No, I'm joking. So we go back to the X-Men. They're gonna leave Japan. They have some farewells with Sunfire. This character was always kind of weird for me when I read through the early comics because he was kind of a prick. And then in the previous story, they kind of get along. And then you get a nice little moment with Mariko and Wolverine, where Logan's doing some flirting, going after that Japanese tail. Got that Canadian yellow fever, and they fly off across the Pacific over back to the U.S. And this is Jaren Hogarth's DC-10. Yeah, I think was the lawyer originally, because I know in the Netflix series Jaren Hogarth is a lady, but I think in the original Marvel comics he was a dude. They do a lot of gender benders in current day Marvel. Anyhow, they're all sleeping over the plane, and then suddenly they get caught in a storm, and Cyclops asks Storm to clear it up, and it's not yielding. They end up having to land in Canada, and they run, and who's there to meet them but Guardian, pretty much telling them, hey, surrender to Logan, or I'm about to throw down with you guys. Pitter patter, let's get at her. And you get a really cool scene where they kind of show off Sasquatch's strength. He's basically like the Hulk, except an actual Sasquatch. And he freaking tosses the DC-10 into a hangar and blasts it. And then as Guardian, not Vindicator, goes over to open up and find him, Storm unleashes her power and kind of masks their escape as they get out. And then they use the snowstorm as a cover to escape the airport and go into town. But little did they know that Alpha Flight actually has a lot of the capabilities of Cerebro from the Canadian government. So they capture Kurt right away, and he gets knocked out by North Star and Aurora. And you get kind of like an interesting... So I obviously am not Canadian, so I don't know much. I know Calgary is a fairly large city, but I didn't realize it was a big city back then. This is like the 1970s. So it's pretty interesting. You get a little fun interlude with... this is directly after Banshee loses his voice, too. So he has like these weird word bubbles that are dashed to say that his... kind of help you indicate that, hey, his voice is kind of damaged. He's not the way he was. Meanwhile, Guardian kind of flies around looking for everybody, and he breaks into the store, and you get a really funny misunderstanding. So the first time they run into, James Hudson, Guardian Vindicator, he kind of almost accidentally kills Moira McTaggart. And Banshee, who's obviously in love with Moira, well, if you follow the X-Men, he immediately reacts violently and tries to scream at him, but because his voice was damaged in the previous issue, it looks like almost that he gets attacked by Guardian, and this just freaking triggers Storm. And man, dude, these John Byrne Storm illustrations are fantastic. Like, look how like freaking pissed she is, but she still has that like really like goddess-like beauty, and she unloads on him, and he's like, oh, to hell with this. Has to pull the freaking eject button and get the hell out of there real fast, and she has to stop before she damages the store. And you kind of get some interesting backstory on James Hudson, and now he kind of originally he wanted Wolverine to run this Canadian superhero group, the Canadian Avengers. I love how they call him Major Maple Leaf to make fun of him. It's pretty valid because the costume is like, oh, did you think Captain America was gaudy? Well, check this out. So Wolverine kind of is reminiscing because Wolverine is Canadian, so obviously he's been here before into Calgary, and he's kind of reminiscing about his time spent here in Canada, and also his thinking about Mariko. And Sasquatch proceeds to give him the jump and capture him, and then you get a little bit of suspense as the team gathers up, and obviously Nightcrawler and Wolverine have not returned. So now it's time. It's go time for this team. They got to go back and rescue them. The X-Men didn't start this fight, people, but we're sure as hell gonna finish it if necessary over Alpha Flight's dead bodies. Really cool issue, and I probably won't do a review on the next one, but just to show you guys, like, the costumes for Alpha Flight are actually legitimately dope. Like, I like North Star and Aurora and Snowbird. Shaman's is kind of typical, but yeah, the next issue is actually really good as well. So anyhow, little quick video for the holidays. Thought I'd go over a little bit of Alpha Flight, or at least I should say the precursor to Alpha Flight, before I pick up some John Byrne Alpha Flight comics as well. So X-Men 120 is a perfect one to do on that. And, that'll be about it. Let me know if you like the video. Definitely let me know if you want to see the Alpha Flight series. I'm definitely going to grab a couple issues of those just to check them out. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit the bell for notification, and leave a comment down below if you have anything to talk about this particular issue or Alpha Flight. And I will see you next time.